What's up, guys? If you're interested in hanging out and chatting with me while I grab footage that you'll likely see in future videos, head on over to my Twitch channel linked in the description below, where we can talk all things COD, gaming, whatever life throws at us. Hope to see you there, but let's get back into the content at hand. So what's an update in Modern Warfare and Warzone without secret changes? Is it really an update if there are none? Thankfully though, by that logic, Season 5 Reloaded's update actually was an update because we have a handful of things to discuss that when talking about the update, you may or may not have seen been adjusted for yourselves, but they definitely weren't listed in the patch notes or communicated with the community. Today I want to run down those things with you so that you know what's going on, what the actual changes fully were, and so that you're aware of what's happening as of this week. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below of these changes. Are there any that you enjoy, any that you really don't care for or like? Whatever it is, let me know down below. As well, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't done so already to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course Black Ops Cold Wars. We're round into some interesting times here coming up. We'll have some stuff you won't want to miss. With that said, let's jump into it. Some of these things have made bigger waves than others, and I suppose it just makes sense to start out with those biggest of changes. Firstly, the MP5 change. Now, this is one that I had seen a lot of buzz about, but admittedly when it first happened, I had no idea what was being referenced. All I knew was that I was getting a ton of tweets saying, hey, did you see that MP5 change, or was the MP5 really changed? And honestly, I just didn't know what was happening. Then I reached out to my good friend JGod, who was at the time trying to get to the bottom of it, but he later followed up with me to clarify the differences of the changes pre and post patch. What was changed was the MP5 with the collapsible stock attachment was changed in its weapon model. Pre-patch, the ADS model was a little bit slimmer, a little tighter to the feel, but the new model and how it is held with the character model is slightly wider and off balance comparative to that pre-patch version. For you and I, this may not be a big deal at all, but to the professional players, mostly using the collapsible stock in some regards, this is something they're competing with for literally millions of dollars right now. So even that slight muscle memory associated with the old model in design could make some difference. Now, will it be the determining factor if players potentially win or lose out on millions of dollars? Not likely, but the fact that it was changed the week before COD Champs, before all that money is on the line, rightfully stirs up a little controversy and a little frustration, to say the least. Now, it's easy when you're like you or me, in which we don't have skin in the game. We aren't competing for life-changing money, so it's something we could easily write off. But again, even that smallest of details do have a chance to make a difference. So this change is maybe why you've heard some uproar about the MP5. Now, the same thing goes kind of for the AK-47 Romanian barrel. This also had a slight model adjustment, and this one in particular, firstly, I think is a bug, but secondly, makes me wonder if that MP5 change was even meant to happen at all, or if that's also a bug like this one. But the iron sights now are interrupted by your player model's hand holding the barrel itself, even though that's not where it's meant to be on the attachment model. This one, again, to me, no way intended, but a change made no less. Then we saw the introduction of the Dragon's Breath rounds on the R90 shotgun, seemingly continuing this trend of adding in one attachment or two every single major update that kind of goes under the radar. And this, I don't really understand why they don't mention this. I mean, it's quite literally something that players can go in and look at, but also when it's something as big as a weapon attachment being added in, you'd think that would make some of the highlights, no? But this is available by getting it 10 kills while sliding, though it is something that I've seen across the community reports of this not tracking properly, which is convenient if you want to get to the conspiracy part of this here, where there's now a bundle in the shop with the Dragon's Breath already available, and the challenge itself doesn't actually work. But I like to try and see the best in things, so I'm gonna assume that's not the case. It's not some evil grand genius plan, but that is something that was added in as well. Additionally, as a result, because of these sliding kills needing to be tracked, it also seems like we have a new medal of the low blow medal, which is getting kills while sliding. To me, I don't recall seeing that at all during the year, and I've seen it pop up here and there again, but that's something that seems to be new based off of reports that I've seen, but wanted to add that in here for you. Let's talk about some newer stuff that may not be as known as the other stuff. Firstly, there's a new contraband weapon within Warzone if you pick up that contraband contract. Now, big shout out to my friend Newbie Gaming for pointing this one out. He ended up showcasing that the EBR Carbonite is the one you end up getting for completing this now, in which that comes along with the compensator, the Forged Tac Precision 22-inch barrel, the canted hybrid optic, the FTAC lightweight stock, and the 20-round magazine. Now, the way that you obtain this, of course, is exactly the same. You find the contraband contract that can either spawn in those specialized crates like scavenger crates, or you can kill somebody that has it active and then pick it up, activate it, and go meet at that rally point as you're meant to do with all the other ones since the beginning. It just seems like that reward now is different as well as of the Season 5 Reloaded update. This now means, though, that the Blue Lagoon AX50 variant isn't really there. It's not part of the equation anymore. So if you don't have it, it doesn't seem like you can get it anymore, unfortunately, which makes it, of course, really rare, but also means you should probably get this EBR variant as well if you care at all about those rare blueprints or you care about getting those rewards before they go away. The next two I want to mention are ones that I'm really not sure if it is a bug, like we mentioned how we think that Romanian barrel is on the AK-47, but the next two in Warzone are really interesting ones that, if true, if they're meant to be this way, it's a game changer for sure. Firstly, satchels now seem to be spawning on the ground and they can just be things you can pick up. You don't have to complete a scavenger contract. You don't have to kill and loot a player that had one beforehand. Instead, they just seem to spawn on the ground, to which that also goes a step further, in which I've seen players report that they have gotten fully kitted out 8 plates with that as soon as they pick it up. So not only then do you get the extra armor slots, you end up also getting full armor to begin with, which is a huge difference maker early game for sure, but also is something that just wasn't like that beforehand. So that seems kind of crazy to me if you think about it, but also throwing in another curveball here, in which I don't know if it's something that's meant to happen or if it's a bug, but the cash drops on the ground seem to be way higher in some instances as well. I think it was my friend Isaac who was streaming, and I saw a clip that he posted where he got $12,000 on the ground, whereas normally the most you'll end up seeing is like 2,000 on the ground. You can get a legendary chest spawn that can drop upwards of 8 to 10 if I'm not mistaken, but that's in very rare instances, but never on the ground. It was quite literally that plunder asset of, if you had a ton of cash, it just drops that massive duffel bag, bigger than the traditional duffel bag and backpack that you'd end up seeing, but you just pick that up off the ground. That's a loadout drop in the first 10 seconds if you end up finding that in one of those rare locations. So I don't know if these ones are bugs in particular or if they were actually meant to be meta shifting changes and alter early game engagements, but some stuff to keep an eye out for no less. Then the heartbeat sensor, rounding out some Warzone specific stuff, is something that is now held at a different distance, whereas it was beforehand. So that might just make, in terms of viewing models, might make a little bit of a difference, but nothing too major. Finally, I'm going to round out the video with some stuff that is actually some free items here if you can end up getting the opportunity to get them yourselves. But this stuff coming unannounced because it was to do with the Black Ops Cold War event itself, which was a day later after this patch went out, after this update went live. So it wasn't something they were going to spoil everything that goes along with it, naturally, but wanted to throw this in here in the video so that you know what is out there as well. But during the 4 steps to freedom in the Know Your History playlist, you end up getting an emblem, a calling card, a weapon charm, and then a new blueprint for completing each of those steps. The emblem for completing the map codes, getting that intel that you had to gather by getting kills or looting crates. Then the calling card was for securing the key, which was the one interactable feature. Then the weapon charm is by cracking the map code, opening up that weapon cache, and then also finally that blueprint of the SKS Bay of Pigs variant was to locate the weapon, or rather to interact with Woods where he'll give you that weapon, and then that would of course clear off all those steps to freedom. That stuff was added in and is new stuff that is, again, added under the radar, not in patch notes naturally, but some stuff that you may not have noticed or may have noticed. And if you haven't done it already, you do still have the opportunity to. They're going to be running the playlist intermittently throughout the next couple of days. Yesterday's and today's, of course, already passing by, but as of tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and then midnight to 2 a.m. in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow. Then on the 29th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to close out when that playlist will be returning. But you get to experience the entire live event if you want to do so with those times, and of course get those free items as well. But that's the stuff that was changed here. Those are the secret changes made under the radar, not in patch notes with update 1.26, or otherwise known as the Season 5 Reloaded update. But that's where we're going to wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of these changes? Anything that you really enjoy, maybe not so much? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course, Black Ops Cold War. We got a ton of stuff you won't want to miss, so stick it here on the channel. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to geek hacking outside of YouTube. I live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, or if it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Minus my espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.